Don't walk down the street eating egg whites ever again, man. It smells like poo in here, dude.
Say it for the camera.
It smells like poo in here.
Don't body shame me. You're body shaming me. That's what you're doing.
I'm bodily function shaming you.
You have it too, Jamie. Why don't you start farting a little bit?
I don't poo or pee.
Ever. Wow.
Or burp.
Wow. So the principle of remember, that person has to take a shit every day too, except Jamie.
Except me. Yeah. No, that's fucking gross.
He's so monotonous. He doesn't even care to relieve his body.
No,
of his its bowely needs.
My body actually uses every little ounce of nutrients. Like I don't have to.
And you still complain about being tired all the time.
I rarely eat. I'm just slowly getting bigger and bigger, no matter what. Last time I ate was a month ago. But if I keep eating, I'll just get huge.
You're like a camel, except you're just full of shit.
Just full of shit. Yep.
That'd be nasty.
Like big old shit humps on your back.
Well, or you're just constantly full of poop and you're just heavy and you can feel it. And you know that feeling you have before you take a big shit and then afterwards you feel completely relieved that it's like like you just dropped 3 pounds.
No,
you
I don't know that feeling.
You've
Austin.
never cleaned house that way.
As we've just established, I've actually never pooped, so I don't know that feeling.
Jamie, I need you to be real with me because do you know what this is?
The Real Neighbours.
Wow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Episode 41. Here we are.
It's very nice.
Yes.
And it's sunny outside.
Yeah.
Makes me a little uncomfortable.
Starting a little earlier than usual. It's a little spicy outside.
So, Jamie, what are our topics for today? You say this while I do something quickly behind the scenes.
Oh, well, we have... what do we have in store for you? We got just oodles and oodles of fun... topics.
I'm back. I was quickly donating to a charity. That's what I was doing.
That's very nice.
It's a humanitarian thing to do.
Yeah. No, that's a thing that a lot of people don't realize is I think this podcast, if we ever started making money, I think we would donate every last cent to charity.
To Goodwills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell your friends because it really is a good cause.
Like anything that stops bad things.
Yeah, anything that stops bad
Stop
things.
murder charity.
Stop murder. Stop racism.
The more money they get, the fewer murders that occur.
Yeah, the Stop Murder charity. We're going to start that.
I actually do think it's a brilliant idea to just make a charity with a very inflammatory title that makes everybody go, wow, I support stopping that.
Well, of course.
Stop murder.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to make shirts first, get our cause out there. Stop murder. Quit. No more violence.
If you don't donate to our charity, that means you don't want to stop murder.
And you know where that money goes? It goes to us to continue to spread the message against murder.
Actually, it goes to Chinese slave factories so we can print shirts.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be a good cause. So we're good.
Next thing you know, you see our charity on dinner plates being produced in Walmart.
Yeah.
And that's when you know it's a really good cause.
Oh yeah, I can't wait, dude.
That actually does get a kick out of me. That a month or two ago, I was in Walmart and I saw dinner plates.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, all right. It's not like It's not like I'm explicitly declaring one way or the other.
Yeah.
But it was they had Black Lives Matter dinner plates.
Yeah.
And it said made in China on the back.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, this is peak capitalism.
Oh, I know. Yeah, because it's like
you have this movement that's being manufactured in Chinese slave factories and distributed to Walmart for profit from capital companies.
Exactly. Whoever idea to print that, they're just making money off
Brilliant.
it.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, because exactly. I wonder how much that even would be donated to Black Lives Matter and stuff. Probably none.
Probably not a lot.
Probably none.
Yeah, if anything,
if it's at Walmart,
call it the skeptic in me, but I just assume everything ends up boiling down to making money.
Mm.
I don't know. To me, I think it's just the harsh reality of the world.
What a wonderful world.
Is it brandable? Even if it's like some sort of, cause like, stop murder, stop rape.
Mm-hmm. It's important.
Wow, dude, we're saying all the buzzwords that take us. Not that we get ads anyway, but if we were, they would be gone. They would be already rescinded.
We are saying stop in front of it all.
That's true. But do you think the algorithm worries about context?
I don't think it does. No.
I don't think it does either, Jamie.
Mm-hmm. Well...
But dude, that gives us power. The fact that we can just talk about these things because we got nothing to lose. We got nothing to gain.
Yeah, that's true.
We're out there somewhere.
But what I do truly hope to lose is murder in the world.
Well said, Jamie. Well said.
Thank you.
You'll be hearing from our charity soon.
Yes.
Rest assured.
Rest assured.
Pre-order T-shirts now.
Yeah. Austin, you ever seen a coyote in the city?
Oh, yeah, I have.
Okay.
Jamie, near where I used to live on Lakeshore, there was coyotes in the yard right beside my house.
Okay.
You didn't know that?
Well,
That's how my cat Shiloh died. I would kind of
I-
hope you'd remember family history.
I actually didn't know your cat died like that. I've heard of cats being dying by coyotes, though.
Really?
I know of a couple.
You think it's occurred before?
I know of a couple, actually.
You've heard rumors?
The guy who lives just like a block from where we are
Jamie,
right now, his cat
Jamie,
died from a coyote.
That's a joke, Jamie. What,
Yeah.
do you think when a cat and coyote meet that the cat's going to win?
No,
dude.
No, my shock comes from the fact that they're in this like suburban, like it's like a neighborhood with not many trees. I'm like, where are they staying?
Where are they hanging out?
Oh,
Where's their fortress?
So that's kind of where my shock comes from. I'm aware they're here. I just don't know where they're coming from.
They're only getting smarter and smarter, Jimmy. They're building tree houses now.
Exactly. They live in the
Coyote
trees.
tree houses.
They live in the trees. So you want to hear a little tale, Austin?
I was hoping for a segue. So
Yeah.
yes.
Okay. So this happened yesterday. I was basically just kind of walking back from work, and I saw. It looked like just a stray dog. This was literally just in my neighborhood, like right here. And I was like, "Oh, here's another dog, a stray dog." So it was kind of approaching me because I found a dog in this neighborhood before, and from a distance, I was like, "Oh, is this the same dog?" I was like, "It might be." And then I got looking, and I kind of said to myself, "I'm like, that kind of looks like a wolf." And then I was like, "But it has like a weird skinny face." And then it started kind of it was walking fast towards me, and it came like right up to me, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute," because I was about to like pet it because I assumed it was just a stray dog, but I was like,
A
maybe
cute stray dog.
yeah, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't pet it because it did look kind of wild. It was a skinny dog. So I was about to pet it. I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't. I was like, oh yes, it doesn't have a collar either. So I saw it. And
Wow, Jamie, you're really putting the pieces together here.
Well, I said to myself, I said to it, I was like, hey, puppy. And it kind of wagged its tail a little bit and turned around me just a little bit. And then I got like a really good look. And I was like, wait. And then it just kind of kept walking. And then I kind of got freaked out. I was like, was that a coyote? So then I went in and I was talking to my like family about it. My little sister looked up what a coyote looks like. And it was a coyote. And so I almost pet a coyote.
You almost petted a coyote.
Yeah. It just approached me, and I thought it was a stray dog at first. I was like, hey, puppy. It actually wagged its tail a little bit and kind of came around me, but then I got a closer look. That skinny face, like almost wolf-like face. And I thought it looked like a wolf from a distance, and I was like, okay. So that was
So you petted a coyote. That's
I
the
almost
conclusion.
did. I almost did.
I thought you petted him.
It brushed up against me.
Hey, puppy.
Well, I went to pet it, and I was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't because it's a stray dog.
Yeah.
So, but then I can realize what it was once I looked at pictures of coyotes because I'm not really familiar with what they look like. So I realized after, I was like, that was a dang old coyote.
You know what,
just
Jamie?
running through my neighborhood.
For what it's worth, whether you petted him or not, it's irrelevant because one, if you look around and his squad's not there,
Yeah.
you're the alpha.
Yeah.
He's looking up at you and he's thinking, this guy's almost 6 foot, 180 pounds.
Right.
This guy could beat the shit out of me. Because coyotes, they're realistically, as you said, they're not that big. They're feral, but
Yeah.
like 50 pounds kind
Yeah,
of thing,
right.
right? So worst case scenario, dude, that coyote bites you, you just club it to death. You just pick up the thing and throw it on the ground and just smash the shit out of it.
Or just drop an anvil on its head.
I mean, if there's one nearby, that seems a little unlikely.
Oh,
Maybe get like a stick or a log. Or
Well, I
something.
always have my traps that say Acme on them. I have them hanging up in the trees, and in case a coyote comes after me.
Oh,
Or-
yeah, that's convenient.
Or I paint like a big black, and make it look like it's a road going through a building, and the coyotes just run and
then
smack
he
right into them.
smacks right into it,
Smack right
yeah.
into them. Yeah. So I could have taken it. Yeah, I could have just blew him up with a rocket.
Jamie, I'm really worried that you're so lost in fiction that you're just going to get killed one day. You have all these fantasy ways of approaching life, and then one day you're going to be thinking, "Oh, let me get the anvil out," and then you're going to get killed by a mob of coyotes while you're joking around somewhere.
But did I mention, dude? I am super fast too. Beep beep.
Man, if a bear starts chasing me, that's okay. I'll just run away super fast. You know why? Because I'm a road runner.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
fast.
Okay, I'm glad. I was
how
wondering
quick
if you were. I was wondering if you were getting the joke.
Of course I did.
Okay.
I was just saying that I'm worried. I'm worried. You know that you gotta assess things realistically, Jamie. I don't want to hear any more childish antics about your anvils and.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. That's all
You
I
want to know a
about.
fact, Jamie? Bears can run like 35 miles an hour.
Yeah.
How fast do you run, Jamie? Way slower. You
Yeah.
need to start thinking about what you're going to do if a bear's coming after you.
Is it so something about bears? If you climb a tree, is that actually not good? I think I heard bears can climb trees.
Some bears can climb trees.
Right.
Yes.
So you're just screwed.
Black bears can climb trees. You don't want to do that. I think I think grizzly bears mostly can't. They're too big.
They're huge. Yeah.
Like grizzly bears, especially a full-grown one, they're probably rocking 700 pounds.
Yeah.
Do you think you could climb a tree if you were 700 pounds? That's a lot of fucking work.
Depends if it's if it could be like a big tree,
Pure
sturdy.
muscle.
Yeah. Big sturdy tree, big sturdy boy.
Not only that, though, his claws have to be able to maintain that much weight.
True.
Where he's digging into the bark and he's climbing.
Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking weight. But black bears can climb. They're pretty.
yeah.
They're pretty small and nimble in the grand scheme of things. So,
Yeah.
but that's when you just when they come up, you just keep kicking them. You just
Kick them.
Get out of here.
Kick them in the nose.
Yeah, just give them a little kick in the face and say, "Get out of here."
Something I've always heard too about bears is if you make yourself big, they'll kind of back down. But
Yeah, do the
that's,
wingspan.
That's the last thing I would actually want to do in that situation.
I don't think that'll work against a grizzly bear.
Not a grizzly.
Probably a black bear.
Yeah.
The
But
problem is
what if if I'm trying to intimidate it and then I just egg it on and then it's really like I can take this thing.
I think the rule of thumb is black bears number one rule is you don't play dead because black bears will eat things that are dead. Mm-hmm. They'll go, "Oh, he's dead, perfect, now I can start munching," and then he'll eat you. But grizzly bears don't like things that are dead.
They don't like things that are dead.
Yeah, so your best bet
Is to play
unless
dead.
if you have bear spray, if you don't have bear spray and you can't climb a tree instantly, you should probably play dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet. The real answer is you never run from a bear.
Yeah. No, I've heard.
It's not going to pan out.
Yeah. A grizzly
They're
bear.
way fucking faster than you.
Yeah. Coyotes, on the other hand.
Dude, coyotes, I think you can really get away with looking bigger and just yelling
yeah.
and fucking going. You just got to become a caveman.
Yeah.
Just get a log and just go like, I'm going to fucking murder
Actually,
you guys.
and to be honest, just running from any dog is bad because then they feel like they have the upper hand. They're just going to jump up at you when you're running.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a bad thing to do too in that
Oh yeah,
circumstance.
if I was in a group of coyotes and I would just my initial instinct is I'm ready to fight to the death.
Yeah.
If I have to, I will like find the nearest log and say, come at me, and I will kill at least one of you before you take me down.
Yeah. Wow. It's intense.
You got to you got to do what you got to do, right? I just view it as what is going to be the most realistic way I'm going to survive this.
Yeah.
And I will make the logical conclusion and then do whatever I need to do to not die.
Yeah.
And in that situation, I'd be fight to the death. That's the answer. I'm not going to be able to escape a pack of coyotes. I need to just sit here and like just die if I have to die like a fucking dog in the middle of nowhere, that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I'm at least going to snap one of their necks before they take me down.
Yeah. That's very noble. I feel it.
Yeah, people find my body and there's just a bunch of strewn about coyote corpses and they're like, "Oh my god, Austin killed 4 of these things before he went
Meanwhile,
down."
your neck is missing and like
Yeah.
Do you think a coyote, so they do eat cats and small dogs and shit. Do you think if they actually managed to get you down, do you think they would kind of feast on you a bit?
Coyotes, I'm not sure about coyotes. Wolves will.
Wolves will.
Wolves definitely will.
So
Only in packs. If they're in a pack and you come up on them, I think they would be willing to eat you.
So I'm just wondering if, like, now that I've seen one this close to home, I'm wondering, am I going to be walking down the street one of these days, just them feasting on a corpse on the corner?
That's what I signed myself up for. That's my fate now.
Yeah.
You'll be walking down the street. You'll just see my corpse. My arms are ripped off and
Just get jumped by a pack of coyotes.
signs of a struggle. You see blood 100 feet along because I just kept fighting while my arms are getting ripped off, and you just see coyote corpses everywhere.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, coyotes, the big thing is coyotes, I think, are not as coordinated as wolves. Mm-hmm. I think they're a little more independent or move in smaller groups.
Yeah.
Wolves will be in full packs.
Right.
That's why you got to be a lot more cautious about stepping into the wrong territory.
Yeah. I always get terrified, like, smelling skunks, too. It's funny because when I was younger, I remember everyone would tell me to avoid skunks. They were like, oh, I smell that. You should probably just be careful, go inside for a bit. And as a kid, I always thought, oh, I actually like that smell. Like, I don't.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I genuinely,
Just
as a
some
kid.
weird, deep-rooted confession.
Yeah. Oh, there, I said it. Yeah, I like it. No,
Guys, I have a confession. All that said, I love the smell of skunk.
I love it. It's so good.
Bring it in the house.
I can't
Mom,
say,
Dad, smell me. I just let a skunk spray me.
I can't say I agree now, but I think part of it is it's worse up close. Like, it burns your eyes. It gets very overwhelming when it's actually up close. But I just thought in the distance as a kid, I was like, that doesn't actually smell that bad. I don't know why everyone's so scared of them. Yeah, I won't say I liked it. I'll just say it didn't scare me. I smelled it. I'm like, that's not actually that bad.
Yeah, didn't Dino?
You get what I mean?
Didn't Dino get sprayed by a skunk or something?
No. Luckily,
I thought you guys had some sort of skunk incident, but I could be thinking of someone else.
No. I feel like I told this story on this podcast before, but I'll tell it again. I used to work at a grocery store, and a guy came in buying tons of tomato juice, and he smelled like a skunk. And so it was just very comical the way he...
The whole story is playing out before you.
Yeah.
No, nothing needs to be said.
Yeah, it was just comical because we all smell it in the line. He's piling up tomato juice, and I think his first word when he comes up to me is like, does this actually work?
Please tell me this works.
And
this happens all the time, right? You got people wandering through the Loblaws buying tomato juice for skunk incidents.
Yeah, I'm the expert on it apparently. No, but I just laughed.
Oh, it's standard, sir. It's standard. I see this stuff at least once a week.
Yeah, but yeah, it was good comedic timing. 'Cause that's all he said, and I just said, I don't know, but the person behind me apparently had dealt with this before, and they were like, it does. And they're like, did you get sprayed? They're like, no, my dog got sprayed, ran in my house, and got the skunk smell all over my furniture, and so he has to bathe his dog with it.
Yeah,
but luckily the person behind them kind of was like, it does work pretty well, so like I would give it a shot.
Oh, I know. Tomato juice is great. Not only that, though, it's an infection. If your dog gets sprayed, for example, and it starts going everywhere, like the smell will go into whatever they go.
Yeah,
near. It's a very strong, potent.
Well, he said he didn't realize he let his dog in and it just started booking around his house, so he probably like had to go no, like chase his dog down and
the dog's probably freaking out because their strongest sense is just being.
Oh yeah,
completely. Like, I don't even know where I am. They're probably just running around. Is this my house? I don't know.
Probably burns their
Where
eyes.
am I? It'd be like us getting pepper sprayed in the eyes, probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just running around blind, just going like, my eyes.
Yeah. No, nature's scary, man. Have you ever seen a porcupine in person?
I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not that big of a deal to see a porcupine, right? Are they pretty rare? I've seen them before.
I think they're rare. Like they're in Ontario for sure.
Yeah, I think in rural Canada you'll see porcupines.
Yeah,
it's not.
But if they get intimidated, they spray their quills everywhere.
Yes. Now, thankfully, that the attack distance of that is not that bad.
No,
they don't go that far.
Okay, because I feel like
the biggest threat is touching them.
Okay.
Like it's like a thing where you touch them and they just release these quills on you and they all get stuck in your hand and they're really hard to get out because they're barbed.
Right.
So you have to be really careful because it'll tear your skin and your muscle fiber.
Yeah.
And it'll tear everything as you're pulling it out.
That always
that's the shitty part. I actually watched a YouTube video all about this guy.
Someone dequilling themselves.
Well, it was actually you can probably find it still. It's an info video where the guy intentionally gets quills into his hand just to show people how to remove them effectively.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, what a cool dude.
What a legend.
He goes, "All right, guys, here we go. About to quill my hand, and we're going to go through the how-to steps about the safest way to remove porcupine barbs." All right, guys.
He's taking it for the team. That actually reminds me, there was a video I saw very similar. There's a specific bug. It's it's a type of wasp, I believe. But
that was the wilderness guy.
Yeah, but it was that the same guy?
Coyote something. No. His name's like something Coyote. Or
Is it
whatever.
actually? That's
Yeah, I love his stuff.
That's
Yeah,
kinda
he did
funny.
he did a bunch of the Wasps and like the.
Yeah.
He also did Spiders. He's done it like every Spider. He's done Black Widow and
the
shit like that.
The one that I wish I remembered the name, but it's not worth looking up because it's not that important. But there's this wasp that they claim if it stings you, it sometimes hurts for days, and people have actually like killed themselves over the excruciating pain. Like it's a very, I don't remember where it is, but this guy willingly got stung by one just to deal with it, and I was like, Jesus,
It was brutal.
That's
yeah.
intense.
He has a very good pain tolerance. At this point, though, he's done it all. He's had so many freaking. Ow, that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I am in a lot of pain. How do I deal with this?
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned.
Stay tuned next week when I wear a jellyfish for a scarf. Yeah, that's intense.
Yeah. No, some people just they're just masochists, man. Or they just have an amazing pain tolerance, or they're that enthusiastic about their content that they're willing to suffer a lot.
Rip Steve Irwin.
What happened to him?
He died by a stingray.
Oh, right, that guy. I remember him. Yeah, the guy.
Guy.
Yeah, the crocodile guy who used to go on all the talk shows and shit. Yeah, I remember him.
I watched a video of him as well where he's holding a snake. It's a poisonous snake around his neck, and it bites his neck, and he handles it so calmly. He's like, get me the anti-venom. He's just like that calm about it.
Yeah. Oh, Jamie, did you hear about Whitest Kids You Know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Trevor Moore.
Trevor, that's it.
Trevor Moore.
Trevor Moore.
He
Yeah.
passed away
I almost
a couple
said
days ago.
Thurston Moore.
Do you know what's
Trevor Moore.
crazy?
Yeah.
They didn't release the reason why, but
It said he was involved in an accident. I read his wiki.
in his backyard.
Really?
I found the police report for it, and it happened in his yard.
Right.
And he was streaming the day before.
Right.
The next day, he died.
Wow.
Or died that night. Like he finished streaming and then died, and then they announced later. It's crazy.
I wasn't sure.
I can't freaking believe it.
I wasn't sure if you heard. I was gonna bring that up actually because I only saw one thing online about it, and then I was like, is that a joke? So I looked it up.
I couldn't fucking believe it.
Yeah.
I was genuinely. He was only 41.
Yeah.
So it definitely was like. And I've been watching. I watch them on Twitch sometimes because they have like their because of COVID. They all kind of came together again, and they were going to do a new movie and start rebooting everything.
Man,
and then he dies. It was just the craziest shit.
Yeah, rest in peace, Trevor Moore. That's really sad because
Such a funny guy.
We both grew up watching them all the time.
Yeah, I loved Whitest Kids You Know, man.
Yeah,
they're so funny,
No.
and I still think they're funny.
Yeah, I would say if anyone hasn't heard of them, check them out. Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah.
They're just funny sketch comedy from like 2008, 2009 kind of era.
You want to hear my theory?
What?
He was talking about on an episode, like one of their streams or whatever, that he was planning on doing moonshine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, because he's 41. You know, you got to, and moonshine is pretty fucking dangerous. People have died from drinking moonshine before.
If you do it,
the fact that it happened in his yard does make me wonder if he drank moonshine.
So you're theorizing.
That's my conspiracy theory.
I wonder why they haven't released it yet. But yeah, I read the wiki as soon as I heard. I actually just heard today, even though it was a couple of days ago. But I read the wiki. It just said an accident. That's all it said on the wiki.
It just blew. Yeah, I don't know what to say. It blew my mind.
Really sucks. Yeah,
It's fucking crazy.
He seemed like a cool guy. Would have been cool to meet all of them, honestly.
Oh,
Like,
dude, those are the kind of guys that I'd love to meet because they're so. They just seem so relaxed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They and their
and
sketches,
they like interacting, and their sketches.
Their sketches were just gold, man. Like So that was some bad news. I just heard today.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that got me. And I don't know. I watched a couple, but it actually almost made me sad to watch them. So I was like, I'll wait a month or two, then watch a couple or something.
Yeah, and they were just starting to release a lot of their stuff in HD.
Yeah, they were doing all their HD re-releases, which they might continue in the future, but I guarantee you they're all going underground for a while.
Yeah, because they don't want to focus on it too much.
I know this is a bit of a niche product, but in my opinion, I think he was the glue that held it all together. Yeah. He always seemed like the front man and the guy who made things happen.
He was, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. He always seemed like the front face.
Wasn't he kind of the founder of it anyway?
I'm sure they all did. A co-founder, but as far as I can tell, he always seemed like he was in every episode, or the guy always making it. Like, you know how there's always, let's say you always have a buddy in your group, and you have that one guy in your group that always is the one that
Yeah.
holds you together.
Yeah.
And I think he was that guy. I don't know if they're ever going to recover.
He was the main character of Whitest Kids You Know.
It's more that some people's personalities just aren't compatible with making things happen.
He brought,
right?
yeah, exactly. He brought all of them together. It seemed. I know
a great
exactly
example
what you mean.
is like Trevor Moore. Mike Fleischer would be like Trevor Moore, and just an example is you and I are not as prone to say let's just do something and make it happen.
Yeah.
I feel like I am more so than you, but I wouldn't consider myself a kingpin by any means.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that's true.
I'll just keep the ship floating. I think you just let it sink.
Yeah. Well, I try my best. If it's something I'm interested in, I don't.
But
I
I'm
try
not
my best
improving the
not to
boat.
let it-
I'm not putting sails on it or anything. It's just I'm
Yeah.
just like let's just keep this ship coasting nice and easy.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Because I don't exactly know the dynamic of how they founded it, but yeah, he always seemed like the one, like definitely one of the more main staples in all the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, rest
And
in
it's sad.
peace.
He had a wife, kids, so
Yeah. Rest
tragic,
in peace.
man. Oh, actually, you know what? Just want to hear a funny story about him. For any, I feel like maybe there's some people here who've watched some Whitest Kids You Know. They were pretty popular at the time.
Yeah.
One little tidbit is he was a pastor's kid,
Really?
and his parents actually made a few famous worship songs. So they would tour all over America, doing
Really?
like these world tours as worship leaders.
Wow.
And they do mega churches and shit like that. And he was a little kid, and at one song, he was talking about this. There's one song that they would do where he would come in and sing, and he was 4 or 5 at the time.
Yeah.
And he said he still distinctly remembers that they went to one service one day
Yeah.
on a Sunday, and he went to his parents and said, "I don't feel like doing this."
Yeah.
And of course, the parents went, "Well, you're going to do it anyway, buddy."
Yeah.
Pat him on the back, get him
Yeah.
out on stage, and there's 5,000 people there, and they're singing the worship song. They're going through it, and then his part comes up, and he just says on the mic, "I don't want to be here."
Wow. In front of all these people.
Yeah, and he's talking to his parents while it's happening. He's saying, "Can we go home? I don't want to be here," and stuff like that, just in front of this huge congregation.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do find it's very interesting when someone grew up, not necessarily just in like a church setting or religious setting. I find it goes one of two ways, especially if their parents were more high up or if they were very invested in it. I feel like it goes one of two ways. It always seems like that person ends up still being very into it their whole life, or it seems like they rebel to the exact opposite, or it at least happens very often. Because I've noticed there's many instances, 2 instances I just want to mention. I heard Marilyn Manson went to a Christian school growing up.
Yeah.
So that kind of was interesting, because I'm like, and then his whole image later in life was the exact opposite. You know what I mean? So it seems like, yeah, it's just interesting to me how, and then Trevor Moore, I keep almost saying Thurston Moore, Trevor Moore went on to kind of just make edgy comedy and stuff like that, kind of crass at times. So I do find that interesting that it seems to go one of two ways, usually if someone's, especially like a pastor's son or like something like that.
There doesn't seem to be any reason or rhyme to it.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I think it's 2 things. I think it's obviously how you perceive the experience and also what your personality is and who you are.
Oh, exactly.
I think there's a lot of people that, in fact, there might, you can have, let's say there's a pastor and they have 4 kids.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 of them are going to be like, "This is great. I like this. I'm going to keep doing this." And then one of them's just going to go, "Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a Satanist."
Yeah.
And there doesn't really seem to be,
It's not even like a
well,
casual.
how different were the kids' experiences? Maybe
Yeah.
a bit different, but he just decided, I feel completely different.
Well, yeah. Well, there's obviously instances where someone is casual about it and they say, "Okay, this just isn't for me," and they go on with their life. That definitely happens too. But I do notice there is a lot of people who just go totally the opposite way to an extreme.
Now,
which
it's
is,
a
which
red
is
flag.
interesting to me.
Yeah, there's a red flag if they have a 0% success rate.
Yeah.
So if you see, let's say, a pastor or something, because I'm assuming that's the context. As you said, a higher up in a church or whatever in a
Yeah.
congregation. If they have 4 kids and 0 of them stick around, the parents probably fucked up.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's something else going on.
Could be that
There-
the parents were just really intense and turned them off of that sort of thing.
because it is pretty natural that you end up like your parents to some degree.
Yeah.
That's the natural course of things. So, and let's say you have atheist parents. Maybe If they have a couple kids, maybe they'll end up being atheists too. And that's not a
And the opposite is if they're like, I hate my parents, I'm going to go to church.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. So if an atheist has 3 kids and they all end up being Christian, they fucked up. They fucked up big time. All those kids went, you know what? My parents are full of shit.
That's them being
I'm
rebellious.
a man of faith and I'm starting a business.
That's them being rebellious. Yeah.
Wearing a suit and tie. They're like, what's up, Dad? I just came back from my Catholic church. And he's like, no,
yeah.
stop that.
Yeah. No.
We just had our yearly trophy service. I forget what it's called.
Yeah. No, it is interesting to me people who, like, obviously it makes sense if people just get older and come to their own conclusions. That's fair. That's what life is. People have their own opinions. But yeah, it's when it is just the like polar opposite effect when they're just like, I'm just going in deep the exact other way.
If none of your kids want to be like you, that to me is
it's
just
funny.
Yeah.
It happens often.
Yeah, it's a bad sign.
It
just means there was something else going on in there.
Yeah.
Something weird going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I said, it's hard. There's so many. I would say it's almost impossible to boil that stuff down because there's too much going on. Just how different people are and how differently people can, even when it comes to stories, everybody can experience the exact same thing and then disagree on the translation a year later. They'll all go, no, this happened, and they all genuinely believe it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
If the internet's taught me anything, it's that people don't agree with each other very often. I think especially the internet's made it very clear that people can disagree. And I don't know. Yeah.
You know, I both agree and disagree with that because
I would say there's pockets of information that it's like a niche. Yeah, people do kind of just follow what they're told if they're in a niche pocket of information. That does happen too. But I'm just saying the amount of arguing that happens on the internet, it's clear that a lot of people just strongly disagree with each other at all times.
Yeah, of course.
Over everything.
I'm talking more about the basics. I think people have more in common than they think. So, for example, let's say there's an old lady walking down the street with a walker, okay? Mm-hmm. And she trips and falls and wipes out.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, most people are going to help her.
Wait.
It's common courtesy.
I'm not going to touch a gross old lady.
Jamie, that's I don't want to talk about this with you then.
That's disgusting.
Austin,
old people, I don't
what
want
a
to touch
terrible
her.
example. One, they're old and gross.
They're old and gross. They're going to die soon anyway.
They might as well be now.
Yeah, I did. Bad example, dude.
Yeah, nice try, Austin. Was not convincing at all.
I'm not touching her.
Most people are gonna help her get up and say, "Are you okay?" and like see if like do whatever they can to assist her. For example,
yeah,
I think that's a pretty common thing. I would actually say that probably 95% of people are gonna accommodate that.
Yeah,
so little
it's
things
pretty
like that
ingrained in people to be empathetic.
Yeah, that something like that can really unify people.
Of course, yeah,
right. So you can have, let's say, on one side of the street, you got a freaking 3 people that have completely polarized views politically. And then they see a lady trip and fall in the street.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll all help her, right? And then you kind of go, okay, I mean, obviously there's a lot of differences here, but at the end of the day, I would say most people are trying their best to be courteous or try to help. You know, like how about this? I'm going to say it this way: is if the majority of people didn't want society to be better, then it would fall apart.
Yeah.
There's no way that like 50% or more of the population, is like just shitty people.
Because it wouldn't work. Because they have to live in it as well. So it's kind of just a common human thing to want to not make it as shitty as possible for everyone.
Yeah, I think society works because most people want it to work. They want to do what they need to do to improve it or make it better.
Absolutely, yeah.
And if that wasn't the case, I don't think we'd have one. It's that simple, right? If other people were like, you know what? Fuck everybody else. I'm going to be a piece of shit and do this instead.
Yeah.
If that was, that's a very small minority of people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
And even people who say things like that anyway, who are kind of just like, I'm against like the structural system of everything.
Anybody.
I still think at the end of the day, even the people like that, when it comes to a human interaction where they can help someone, they're gonna anyway.
Have you seen the turning point in movies? Where it starts off, there's a character or something that says, I don't care about anybody. And then there's like a whole thing that happens and there's like an arc where somebody goes, I do care. Yeah. And then it goes into
their heart grows 3 sizes bigger.
Exactly, like the Grinch. Yeah. That's a great example.
Yeah. Didn't Scrooge also become a nice man?
Uh-huh.
Cool.
Of course, I'm assuming you mean the hit remake with Bill Murray in the
yeah, I'm talking
80s.
about Bill Murray.
Yeah, Scrooged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unironically, one of my favorite Christmas movies, but...
It's good. It scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty wild.
The scene where he comes out looking like a pale zombie with like tissue paper looking skin.
Yeah, that was kind of creepy.
And
when
the
I was a kid.
bowling ball
Yeah.
rolled out of his head. I saw that as a kid, and I think it triggered a nightmare, actually, because I remember seeing something looking very similar shortly after I saw that movie in a dream, and it scared the shit out of me.
That is not outlandish. It actually was pretty... There's something creepy about old special effects.
Yeah.
Because even looking back, there's something... Because it's all practical and kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
You know?
Because his skin almost looked like weird tissue paper peeling off, and like it, even though it looked... Yeah, it's hard to explain, but it terrified
Something
me.
about those kind of practical effects really...
And the
I don't know,
bowl-
even now I think it would get me a little bit.
The bowling ball rolling out of his head scared me, too.
You mean the golf ball?
Golf ball.
I was saying bowling. I'm like, you said bowling ball once or twice, and I'm like, all right, you said it 3 times.
Did I say bowling ball every time?
Yeah.
Wow.
I initially just glossed over because I thought, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
He meant a golf ball.
Golf ball is what I meant.
eventually had to say something.
That'd be...
That would be quite a shock if his skull opened up an entire bowling ball.
that would be funny, actually.
Oopsie daisy, there's the bowling ball out of my head.
Yeah.
Casually rolled out.
That damn Bill Murray scaring the shit out of me as a kid. Yeah, a lot of Christmas movies are actually kind of scary now that I think about it. I feel like they all involve ghosts and ghouls and, you know.
Yeah, but now they're just cute. I don't think it was intentional to make it creepy back then, let's say in the 90s and earlier.
The Bill.
But it came across that way.
That's called Scrooge, right?
Yes, the movie Scrooged. And if people haven't seen it around Christmas,
Yeah, watch it this Christmas.
give it a watch. It's quite an experience.
But
Bill
be
Murray,
warned.
man.
Be warned, it's pretty scary.
It's Bill Murray during his peak.
Yeah. Oh, it's
Just
great.
Everything that if you like Bill Murray, you will like this movie.
I watched it last year, actually, around Christmas, and that's what actually triggered that memory again. I was like, I do remember seeing this as a child, and it fucked with me. Yeah. But
Oh man! Remember, this dress seems inappropriate. Her nipples are hanging out. And he goes, "We love to see her nipples.
yeah.
She looks great."
Yeah.
It's just so. Oh my god!
Yeah.
When it's Bill Murray, you're like, he's just the charisma just oozes out of the screen.
He's great. He's really great. Has he been in a movie in a while?
Yeah, he does stuff. He's older now, though, right? You know,
Yeah.
His ability to do roles is a little more limited. He
Right.
can't be as spry as he was in Ghostbusters, for example. You know, hopping around, or like he sees a pretty lady and he walks up and he uses his Bill Murray charm kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
He's in his 70s now. It's not quite like that anymore.
Yeah. I heard stuff online about him, and I'm like, basically people were saying they would run into him and he would just be all like, what's the word? Try and be whimsical about it. So he would like, I don't know. I was reading stuff where people claimed he like crashed parties before.
Yeah,
in New
he'd
York.
randomly show up to parties and clean dishes and leave.
And then he'd be like, no one's ever gonna believe you, and then he'd leave and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of stories like that, and I'm like, that's pretty funny. Like just like going to like random college parties, everyone's like, what? And then he's like, and then he does something stupid. And
Yeah,
leaves.
that is the favorite one I read. That they said that Bill Murray came over and then he was there for like a few hours, and at one point he cleaned all the dishes in the sink
and then just leaves, and he's like,
and left.
no one's ever gonna believe you.
Yeah, Bill Murray cleaning your dishes? That's fucking if.
Yeah, they're like,
no one's
whatever.
gonna buy it.
That's funny. But here I am buying it. Maybe someone did make it up.
Well, if once you hear enough of those stories, you start to think.
Exactly. There's a bunch of them. Yeah.
If it only ever happened once, it would be like a mythical legend of. Did he?
Yeah.
Did he show up to your party? Probably not. But since he's done it, maybe let's say 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, according to him as well, he was in school for something. He was going to college or university or something, and he was caught with a bunch of weed, and he was kicked out of school. And then apparently he just said, "All right, I guess I'm going into acting." That's kind of how apparently how it happened. He was caught with a bunch of weed in like the 70s and kicked out of school, and that's kind of what started his career.
Do you know what? I saw What About Bob recently.
Oh yeah.
And if you haven't rewatched that one, you should, because it's the weird thing is that movie changes completely when you're an adult.
Really?
When you're a kid, you have this perspective, and I'm not going to give spoilers or anything. I'm just giving how you view the film. When I was a kid, Bill, like when he was playing his character Bob, when you think he's really funny and goofy and a fun guy,
Yeah.
and there's nothing weird about him, you're just like, oh, he's a really fun, whimsical dude. And then when you're an adult, you have this perspective that he's still charming, but he's a 40-something-year-old guy with
Yeah.
a lot of mental problems.
Yeah.
And it's almost brilliant how that's displayed. And when I rewatched it, it was almost disturbing because you can both accept that he is very mentally disturbed and yet charming at the same time. Well, as you're a kid, you think he has no fault at all. It's really weird.
Right. Yeah, I can see that.
But the way they execute it is brilliant because he does come across kind of unhinged.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd be interested to watch that again. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just funny because when you're a kid, you're so forgiving of... You think, oh, he's just a kid, he's just having fun and goofing around. There's no perspective in that way.
Right. That's much like Joker 2019 film. I feel like as a kid I wouldn't pick up on how crazy he is, but now I would totally.
Although for what it's worth, I don't think my parents would let me watch that when I was a kid.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That would be a null issue for me because my parents were too busy trying to deal with the fact that I was scared of the Borg from Star Trek.
Yeah.
I had bigger fish to fry at the time.
Right.
And also cat creatures from what was it called again?
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo, which
Scooby-Doo.
we talked about on the second episode of this podcast.
We did.
That's a callback.
Yeah. Usually you don't remember things that specific. I guess obviously we remember the first couple's names.
Yeah, it's easy to remember the first few.
Way more ingrained in our heads.
Also, we called the episode Attack of the Cat Creatures.
Yeah.
Which I would say quite a highlight in terms of naming an episode.
Yeah, it's good.
That's pretty up there.
We've definitely gotten worse at naming them.
That's because at some point, creativity just becomes a pipeline of an obligation. Things you got to do.
We're just phoning it in at this point. Yeah.
You said it in less words, but essentially, yeah, that's correct.
There's no passion. In the beginning, we're like, let's see where this is going to go. But now I'm just like, it's kind of fun to do.
Oh, fuck. Where's that? What do we call this episode? We said a bunch of bullshit. Let's just fucking call it like...
Just mash up some of the words. And
farts and
coyotes.
Basmalt vinegar.
Basmati rice and coyotes.
Basmati rice and coyotes.
Yeah.
No, we can't do another and in there. We can't do it.
No. I was thinking it'd be funny to name this one that just because we just said it, but okay.
Oh, but we've done so many of those now. We gotta spice it up a bit, guys. You'll see.
All right.
You'll see what it is.
You'll see what
By
it
the time
is.
you get here, you already know.
Yeah.
We're working backwards from you guys. It's not fair.
Let's actually brainstorm it all night tonight.
Wow, how much time do we have left? Like 20, 30 minutes? Let's go.
No, not on the podcast. I'm saying afterwards.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say let's bore our listeners by brainstorming episode ideas. And they already know how it's going to end up, so there's no mystery to them.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't that one because it's...
Yeah.
We already know what it's called.
They clearly didn't name it Hot Chocolate and Dogs.
Did we talk about hot chocolate?
No, we didn't.
Okay,
so that's clearly why we're not going to name it that.
How about old and dead actors?
How about we don't talk about
and what's the difference?
And we talk about Bill Murray's bowling ball head.
Dude, you know what sucks is how do you know when you're past your prime? There's some people that seem to never leave it, but there's a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
For example, let's say you're an artist and you make all your hit albums in your 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 30s, 40s, the rest of your life happens and the entire life goes, remember when they were in their 20s and they made good music?
I guess
but then there's other people that seem to do pretty well.
I guess it's all your perspective of it, because if you, at the end of the day, a lot of people never hit that, what you're calling their prime. It's one of those things that I guess it's, if it happened, it's cool, and if it didn't, then there's no difference than if it did, because if you end up the same as everyone else around the same age, then at least it happened at that point. So I would say if someone was very creative in their early life and created all this music, and then down the road just kind of ended up fizzling out, not being as creative and stuff, then they're just basically still at the same point most people their age are anyway. So at least it happened. So I guess it's all about your perspective of that.
I believe in the peak, meaning that there are some points in your life, for example, that you're going to be stronger than you've ever been, or you're going to be more creative than you've ever been.
Of course.
Just because of where you are.
Yeah.
Let's say something just happened, and that puts you in this weird headspace of where you have this intensity where you suddenly you go on stage and you act like a maniac, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's creative and you make all this great music.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, you live in a mansion in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And 5 years later, that's all you've done because maybe you have kids now.
Yeah.
And you keep getting divorces.
And you don't have
what
the
do you
same
sing about?
passion.
You sing
Yeah.
about your second ex-wife at that point? It's hard to get back to that.
Yeah, yeah. Because sometimes I would say inspiration comes from pretty random things at times. So I guess if someone is successful based on something like that in a creative field, yeah, I guess after that point, if they're like just disconnected and rich, they're not going to have the same
that's
inspiration as they once did.
I think that's exactly what happens personally.
Yeah.
I think
probably.
people get to. It's not even really a bad thing. That's the problem. It's not an exclusively bad thing. It's more that let's say you're angsty and you're young and you're like Rage Against the Machine. You're like fuck the system kind of thing, right? And then next thing you know, you're 35. You have a couple kids. Maybe you're married. You live in a house and
you're very wealthy off those songs.
Yeah,
so
you're
pretty
wealthy.
disconnected anyway.
You have a couple SUVs and you drive your kids around to karate class. Like,
Yeah.
what are you going to write music about? Are you going to write another angry Rage Against the Machine album?
Yeah, well, exactly. The anger's not there because, like, they're not. Yeah, because again, and when I say disconnected, I mean, especially in the instance of Rage Against the Machine, they're singing about struggles of like poverty and whatnot. And clearly, now that those albums are super successful, he's not coming from as passionate of a place about it.
How many of those albums can you possibly? How many can you output?
Yeah, he's not
in
actually
a
worried.
genuine
He's not worried
headspace.
about the same issues now because he's not really feeling it as much. Clearly,
He probably is, but he just doesn't have the energy he used to.
right.
Where you'd go on tour and you're young and you're angry.
I'll give a
that
good example.
That blood, that hot blood you got.
Yeah, I'll give a good example too. I think Dave Grohl. I'm not talking shit. I think he's a great musician, but I'm just saying when he was in Nirvana, for example, I feel like just so much energy and passion. And I would say early Foo Fighters too had some of that passion.
Oh, 100%.
But
Obviously, those original songs like Everlong, I think. I think those are good hits.
But I'm saying anything that like Foo Fighters are putting out now, I'm not that interested. You know?
Oh yeah. How about this?
It's gotten very just plain. And like I'm not talking too much shit. I do still think he's a talented guy. But yeah, it's almost like I would say his prime, at least to me, the part of his artistry I liked was when he was more passionate. Like, yeah, when he was in Nirvana, he was brilliant. Like his drumming
and
was
I think,
amazing.
or when he was doing songs for the deaf.
Oh yeah,
I think
and
that
Queens
was
of the
another
Stone
great.
Age.
Yeah, he still had that kind of intensity.
Yeah,
playing the drums really hard in a way that like a lot of people view it as
that was
only the way
still-
he can.
that was still like earlier 2000s.
Yeah,
kinda deal.
2002.
Yeah.
I think. No, yeah, I do agree. And you know what though, I think his music right now is pretty good. I've listened to some of his newer albums. I really
It's
liked.
not horrible, but it doesn't have the same spark, in my opinion. That's all.
I think his one album was called Concrete and Gold a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I listened to it. It was good. It was. I think. And actually, I would go as far as to say, is in terms of the kind of music that's coming out now, I would put it above average.
Okay.
Because
Never heard it.
But I wouldn't call for me, the modern standard is not super high. But I still enjoyed it. I listened to the album a few times, but I definitely don't hold it anything close to obviously the reference that you have like for Nirvana or
I think it depends
Queens
what
of the Stone Age.
It depends what genre you're interested in too, because I would say there is a lot of great music, but it's only thriving in certain genres, I feel. So like I would say if you're really into rock music, there's definitely not nearly as much good quality stuff out. There still is. There's still some good rock bands, but it's not they're not as common to come by. So it depends on the genre you're interested in, because I would say there's a lot of good rap music coming out now, a lot of stuff like that.
Actually, I would say that rock is, I think if there is a great band, it's harder to find.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
Well,
because
just 'cause
there's
the
a point
quantity's
where
not there as
well,
much.
the rock peaked, and the biggest bands were absolutely ginormous. So it was hard not to hear about them. When there was a great band, you like obviously, I think Foo Fighters is a great example. Like most people have heard of the Foo Fighters because they were there during the peak. Kind of going into like the late
some would argue
90s,
that's
early
not,
2000s.
But some would argue that's not the peak. It's kind of funny because rock has evolved over the years. Like in the 70s, it was a certain sound. 80s, was a certain sound. 90s, was a certain sound. Even 2000s, it was a certain sound. And I would even say 2010s, when it was like a lot of that kind of pop, punky, hardcore stuff too. They all had very unique sounds. But I would say modern rock now, at this point, it's just one of those things that they're kind of referencing at this point. Like, there's not as much innovation now.
Okay, what's your thought?
There's already been so much.
If
you know?
Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age disappeared right now, who would be the rock band?
I couldn't tell you. I mean,
Now, obviously, we're a bit out of touch, of course, but
yeah.
there's no other like super band. You know, like
Whoa.
I do view as the Foo Fighters and Queens of the Stone Age as kind of the last of that era in terms of like big rock bands.
Yeah, but then I would say the Strokes too, kind of earlier 2000s and stuff. But again, and even in 2010s, I liked a lot of 2010s music as well. More of that like kind of pop punky hardcore sound. I liked a lot of stuff from that
so what
genre.
is it? Like what bands?
Oh, I don't know. Like 2010s, I really liked Touche Amore, had a unique sound. But again, some of that stuff references 90s hardcore and stuff as well.
Yeah, but that all
So
comes from the point.
it's all
my
rehash,
point being,
kind of.
yeah, that they're not super bands. They're not filling out arenas.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They're not
No.
going to these huge big
I don't know,
venues and filling out
Imagine
seats.
Dragons.
Oh God! Wow, that actually killed me when you said that. It kind
Yeah.
of hurt a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Imagine
again,
Dragons is kind of getting Nickelbacked now, eh?
yeah,
If you didn't know.
probably. I can see it.
What happened is they released that one album that obviously got huge. You know, the shit like Radioactive and
Yeah.
all the songs in that album, whatever. What was it called? I don't know. I don't remember anymore.
I
but
think, what,
a lot of
Imagine
people
Dragons?
liked it.
Radioactive?
Yeah, that one album. They made like a big album, but then they kept releasing music and it all sounds the exact same. Now they're getting Nickelback.
Right.
Everybody goes, you're a one-trick pony, and you just keep outputting the same shit
I could
every
see
year.
that. I feel like any song I've heard by them was pretty similar.
Yeah,
They
it's hard to
sounded
tell
similar.
the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but again, that to me that doesn't mean there's no innovation in music though, because there is a lot of very creative artists out now. But I would say rock music definitely isn't in the forefront now. That doesn't mean there aren't still innovative bands, but they're not in like the forefront of the industry.
But you do
like they
agree
used
with
to
they're
be.
not. They were missing the super bands.
Well, okay, but I would say genre-wise, because again, like I would say, like some artists, I think Tyler the Creator has really been,
Of course,
picking up,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
example, stuff like that.
In different genres, I totally agree.
Exactly, and like so, you know,
Tame Impala is still huge.
Tame Impala's.
I'd
actually,
love to see
Tame Impala is actually getting really big. Their
Yeah.
Let It Happen is like crazy views on YouTube. Is it a? I don't want to.
I wouldn't
make
be
a claim.
surprised if it was over 100 million at this point.
I
no
actually
problem.
I want to look it up. I don't want to say what it is yet. I'm just gonna look up "Let It Happen" and just I
Jamie,
feel like that
it's-
song.
It's Benny that looks these things up.
Oh, sorry, Benny. Can you look that up for us, please?
Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay. I don't want to accidentally
No,
play it.
Tame Impala is
this song-
way up there.
This song like blew up, which is crazy because I remember in high school I listened to them when they were just kind of like a little psych indie band. Okay, 82 million views for the official video. I thought
they,
it had.
they fill out. They're able to fill out arenas. That's the big
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Is when they go do a show, people show up. That's the biggest thing.
Right. Yeah.
YouTube views are obviously an indicator, but
Oh yeah.
to me, I go, can you fill seats? And if they can,
Yeah.
they're a super band.
But Currents definitely just blew up for sure.
It's a great album. It's a great album. I love Currents.
Yeah.
I've listened to Currents. I've probably listened to Currents like 50 to 100 times, no problem.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Definitely. I just think other genres are more at the forefront nowadays, but that doesn't mean innovation's gone. But yeah, I mean,
Oh, of
obviously-
course, it's just harder to find. That's
Yeah.
my original thought.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's
I'm
still,
waiting for the next big thing, you know?
Yeah. Or
thing
at
that
least the
blows it all away.
next thing, big thing that captivates you, you know? Because there's definitely some big things that are captivating a lot of people at the moment. So
True.
I'm not gonna
that's fair. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that's like disingenuous or whatever. Because if it's hitting them the same way certain things hit me, then that's great, you know?
I know. I'm an old school bum. What can I say?
Yeah.
I was listening to like to me there's so many albums that just age better and better, and when you listen to them, it's just mind blowing every time.
Yeah.
I think like Led Zeppelin's first album to me is mind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
When I hear Dazed and Confused, I'm like, my God,
Still, yeah.
like
Still great.
it's still modern in the sense that it still just slaps. It has all the energy and the intensity, and it's mixed so well.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, and you know what? To be fair, I'm like, how do you top this? Like
Yeah.
this, it's this pocket in time where all these people were just innovating. They were brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Well, yeah, I know. It's very interesting because again,
It's a hard fight. How do you compete with that?
that's the thing about time and creativity. It's like the influences are always so different because things were always so different. Like we're in such a different mindset as the people in the 70s had, for example. Like they were not nearly viewing life at all the way we are. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
no, not even remotely.
Not
They're
even
just,
remotely.
It's so different,
It's so
beyond
foreign,
completely
but-
beyond our comprehension.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely crazy.
Oh, dude, and do you know who else? And I know, like, I think everybody should listen to him at some point. But Jimi Hendrix, to me, still to this day, when you hear him play guitar, it's just fucking witchcraft.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just
it's beautiful.
disgusting. Just
Yeah.
it's so raw and creative, and
Yeah.
it's not like this perfect like click time, but it flows so
it just
well. and-
feels good. Yeah. Electric Ladyland. I love
Oh,
that.
it's just
a
what a
lot.
great album. It's just so when I listen to Jimi Hendrix, I always think this album is just almost getting newer and newer all the time
Oh, yeah.
because it was just so. Yeah, what a crazy pocket in time. If anything, I can just say we were blessed we got that at all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not many people are definitely even close to being similar. I would say very unique artist.
talent is probably the number one problem of the world, man, in everything. Whether it's profession or creativity, there's only so many Da Vinci's. And
Yeah.
it'd be like the world would be pretty great if everybody was just like Leonardo da Vinci or something, right? Like that's just not the way it goes.
No, definitely
Talent
true.
is rare.
That's definitely true.
Everybody wants it.
I'm selling talent if anyone wants it.
Are you selling it like on like a pamphlet,
Yeah, I have a
seal of approval?
yeah, it's just a yeah, I'm selling like little certificates. It's a talent award. If anyone wants to spend, like, I'm charging $100. Anyone who wants a signed copy of talent.
I'm trying to remember
That'd
the
be a good
term.
gimmick. We should
What was that term? I can't remember. It was basically you could buy. At one point in Italy, there was a pope that was selling tickets to heaven. I forget what the term was, but
Really?
basically, if you paid the church money, you would get this piece of paper that says you're going to heaven.
Oh man. Are
Now-
they still doing it?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, it actually
damn
kind
it.
of. Oh yeah, no, disappointing, right?
I kind of
Wouldn't
want
life
that.
be great if you could just live blissfully and go, I bought this though, I'm good to go.
Dude, I want to buy a ticket to
You're
heaven.
snorting coke with your ticket to heaven.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Oh, because it counts. It's fair. Like because you paid for that
Yeah.
and you deserve it.
Yeah. You don't think there's coke
Now,
in
did it
heaven?
lead to the Pope getting like murdered and like tons of people, the church being like,
You're a heretic.
I mean, yeah, that did happen.
Yeah,
So
I'm
it doesn't
sure.
pay off.
I'm sure. But it pays off to the people who bought it because they're going to heaven.
Well, I mean, but then the Pope that sold to them died. So
They're going to that guy's heaven. But he clearly went to heaven too anyway. So
true. Hopefully, there's a bunch of versions there or something, right? Is that how it goes?
What? Well, no, that's the one true heaven, whatever that guy's selling.
That's what I'm saying. So hopefully, there's
Other ways there.
how many versions is it in Islam? Is it 72 versions or something?
72. Yeah, I like how it almost sounds like you're saying
In that
versions.
ballpark. Oh, versions. No,
Virgins.
virgins.
Yeah, 72 or 74. Because you said a number, I feel like if I were to just say it, I would have got it right. But I could be, because you said a number, now I'm like, that sounds right.
Yeah, to me, 72 is really disappointing because if you're going to be there for eternity, that's like
You'll get bored of them.
you'll be done in 3 months, and you'll be like, "Fuck, what happens now?
Oh, wow.
What do I do now?
Fuck
I
boy.
got like 10 million years ahead of me.
Fuck boy Austin over
What,
here.
what do you think I'm good? Like if I had the opportunity in the afterlife, of course I would.
Only 72 chicks? That's so... I'll get bored of them in a
I'll
couple
get done
months.
in 3 months, and I'll be like, "What now?
Yeah.
Ah, fuck. Here we go."
I hear that. I'm like, that's kind of overwhelming, to be honest.
Jamie, you literally have eternity to figure it out. You could bang one girl every 1,000 years if you're feeling a little uncomfortable, and that's
That's a little long.
I
That's a
know,
little long.
but Jamie, that gives you plenty of time to contemplate it if you really need that. So,
Well, I don't know.
and then after 72,000 years, you're all out of time. That's it, Jamie. You did it.
Do you know what's exhausting to think about? Like, what if like reincarnation was real? That's the most exhausting concept. It's like, what if I'm just born like a different life, but I have no memory? And it's like, then what? It's like, that sucks. kind
Except
of.
you have no memory of feeling like that would be exhausting and it doesn't even matter. It's pointless because that just means you reincarnate and you don't remember anything anyway.
Right.
It's a moot point.
But what if I'm really shitty in the next life?
You wouldn't know it because
know.
you would have no precognition or any of this memory. So you just be a shitty person. That'd be the end of it.
Yeah, that's true. You got a
It's
point.
one of those things where when people talk about that and like the philosophical implications, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
It's all based
You
around
wouldn't
memory,
know.
and if you
You
don't
wouldn't
remember,
know.
then it doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, would you say it's going to be so tiring, except for the fact that you are a completely different person?
But I feel like if your consciousness in any way is going to something else, clearly that kind of assumes that you are one consciousness throughout this whole thing anyway. So you think there would be some connection in some way if you are quite literally the same person in the next one.
If there is,
You would think there'd be some implications.
The connection is not very good because nobody's figured it out yet.
Yeah.
I would say try harder, people, because
I don't know, get it
doing
together.
a pretty shitty job.
Get it together.
Maybe I was a cool fucking dude in the past life, and that's why I'm such a fucking cool dude now. Wow.
Yeah.
Never even thought of that.
That's true. You got a point.
Jamie, okay, we got about 45 seconds.
45 seconds.
What do you want to do? How do you want to allot this?
How are we going to fill... Dude,
we
need to open up a whole can of worms.
Let's start by thanking our friends and family.
All right. I'd like to thank my management. I'd like to thank God.
I'd like to thank God and Jesus.
And my family, my friends, my homies.
My homies, you know where you at. Acquaintances.
My mom, my dad.
Work friends.
My work friends. My neighbors. My real neighbors.
My tractor.
My tractor. Thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to go.
All right, we're going to go.
It was probably an hour. I don't know.
Probably. All right. Goodbye. Thanks for listening.
See you later.
Bye.